Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
First, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect, the house of David. I'm your brother Halak, and to my left,
I'm the brother Anah.
we're here with another in transit, about standing stiffly for the name, because we're coming to the time that we're going to have to make a stand for what we believe in, you know. There's going to come a time that, like, no other, you know, like during the I'm not sure if I can say this. When Big C was out in the streets, C19, when when that was out in the streets, doggone, it was some people that quickly folded. I'm talking about those who call themselves Hebrew Israelites that folded immediately. They didn't take a stand because taking a stand for is not only proclaiming the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, but standing in his ways, obeying his ways. You know, you had a lot of people, especially of those that didn't call on the name, that don't call on the name, that folded immediately. How much more so when the sea hip is around, when martial law is around, when Jacob's trouble is in full effect.
Because they said that the juice was just really a test trial. Like, of course, they had their own agenda, their own psyop behind the juice. But really, it was to really see, because if you look at it, once it closed, once everything started opening back up, you saw they completed their, the surveillance and the security infrastructure, having all the cameras and stuff up. But they really started to see just how much pressure they can put behind you niggas, just how much it'll take for you niggas to fold. And a lot of it, they were just saying you niggas couldn't go on your cruises, couldn't go out of town. A lot of you niggas that didn't know how to sit in the house. So they really gathered that data, you know. So once they see him come out, they already got some foundations on how to make you nigga fold. You know?
They figured out they got y'all hooked on their comfort. It's that convenience because y'all can't live without it. So they know they got a good amount, but they had a good amount of people that refuse, even those that's not of Yahweh Shemal that shot these so-called truthers, you know, they saw that okay, we have a portion of them that we're gonna come through, them foreign troops gonna run through them hot-blooded Americans, red-blooded Americans, I'm gonna get this. This second Ezra chapter 2, verse 47. So I'm probably verse 46. Then I said unto the angel, what young person is that crowned them and give it them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, it's the son of Yahweh, whom have they confessed in the world. Then I began to greatly commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because these are the people that's going to be commended. These are the people that's going to obtain the victory. Because they stood stiffly. And when you standing stiffly for the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that comes with what? A standard. That comes with a standard.
That goes against like the beloved brother Priest Ash was going into how what made the men in the Bible so great. They beat the odds. They stood against the odds. Look at David. King David did something that nobody else did. The prophets in those days, they was doing things that not everybody else wasn't doing it. So they were standing against the odds in those times. They were standing stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shema Shah.
Okay. And that's what's gonna happen, because when you stand for something, you're upright for it, And we're upright for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Get this.
I'm gonna read that right. I got a quick Google search of what does it mean to stand stiffly. It says, get to the real life. It says to stand stiffly means to stand in a straight, rigid,
Mm.
and unbending posture. Bending goes into breaking. You know, when you like a lot of niggas broke when they start applying that pressure behind the juice. All right. Often with formal unrelaxed demeanor, it can imply a lack of ease or a formal stance, sometimes indicating stiffness in one's demeanor as well as posture. It also means soldiers stood stiffly to attention. All right. Smart vocabulary, related words, phrases to include either hard or firm. All right.
Mm.
So we stand hard, we stand firm. We said what they said nowadays, stand on business.
Mm-hmm.
Stand on business when it comes to your how about your mouth shot. All right. We don't move. We don't budge. We don't compromise when it goes outside or goes against anything that the how about your mouth shot tells us to do or what not to do. Yeah.
Kind. What else when you think of firm? You think of these trees. We say you have to be rooted in Yahweh Shai. And that's the only way you're gonna truly stand firm, because everything else is no true foundation. You know, this place is crumbling down. There's no true foundation in this. Ain't no foundation in Buddha. Ain't no foundation in Allah. Ain't no foundation in none of the false gods and idols.
Especially with Christianity, bro. You look at Christianity, got so many type of fucking beliefs. That's why like like people can come, anybody can come amongst that shit and make it whatever they want to. If you don't believe it, you can just go. You can just go with the denomination that they call it.
Mm.
You can just go to some of them. I ain't Baptist. I ain't Pentecostal. I'm not whatever the fuck. They got all these different names and shit for it. But it like that's what goes into that confusion. There is no true foundation because everything's so shook up. Everything is just all over the place. Everything's just all over the place, bro. There is no standard. There is no there is no true doctrine behind Christianity. It's just that come as you are and do as thou wilt spirit, bro.
God. I'm gonna read down on this one. I'll probably get this first. Yeah, I'm gonna get this first. This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 19 in the NLT. But Yahweh Shem Shai, truth stand firm like a foundation stone, with this inscription: the Lord knows those who are his, and all those who belong to the Lord must turn away from evil. You know, you see, you're saying, how about Shem Al Shas, that stone of foundation, that cornerstone, because what? It's something you probably build on. You ain't finna build on sand. You ain't finna build on what's that other thing? You ain't finna build on sticks,
A straw.
straws and stuff like that. Now you need a solid foundation. So, because if you have that solid foundation, your house will stand.
Mm-hmm. You got some more?
Come I'm gonna read down on this. You got something else?
I got some for you going into that. You said being rooted, but you can go ahead, or I can get this up too.
It's gonna be a read. This is Daniel chapter 3, starting at verse 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, you want in our time, you're gonna have people like, what? Ain't you American? Weren't you born here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't you have rights just like them? Why y'all fighting against this?
That's what they did with the Jews, bro. Like we were going into psyops and stuff, and how they'll turn around and make it to where this particular thing, they'll make it to where, hey, you gotta get this. Oh, if all Americans do this, hey, you holding back the society if you don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened with the juice. That's how you can tell us. So it was a big ass psyop, man.
You got to look at this situation right here, because they didn't want to bow down to the image or serve their gods. Didn't want to conform to the ways of Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
How they was treated. Look how they being treated. They being treated like what? In our days, it would be called a terrorist.
Yep.
You see the correlation?
Yep.
Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Yep.
This is what is about to happen. You have to be able to stand like these three. Continue in verse 15. Now, if ye be ready, that If ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the hornet, flute, harp, and sackbut, paltry, and d- this lamer, and all kinds of music, ye shall fall down and worship the image which I have well, made well. But if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning furnace. And who is that power? Who is that? Let me read as is. And who is that God that should deliver you out of my hands?
Oh,
And Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this manner. They were wild. They said, we're gonna tell you straight up.
say, hey, nigga, fuck what you talking about. This what the Lord said, nigga.
Verse 17, if it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. Listen to this, verse 18. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
That nigga really said, look, hey, check this out, my guy. I ain't gonna even sugarcoat it. It's all with, look, the Lord gonna save us. If he don't, shit, we still gonna go with him. But I'm letting you know that shit dead.
And that's the mindset. And that's the mindset we're gonna have to have in the times to come.
God, I mean, I'll let you know that shit dead, my guy.
That's
Got some more?
that's the mindset we're gonna have to come, have to be in, because like they be like, oh look, when they all start decapitating the believers and stuff like that, those who are designated for it, they be like, look, your God didn't save him. So if you don't get this, the same is gonna happen to you. And we gotta be like them.
Yeah.
He has the power to save us. He has the power to save, but if he don't, I'm still not taking it.
He ultimately has a decision to do, because like scripture says, his thinking is above our thinking. Like, oh yes, the Lord is gonna save us and protect us and no matter what. But if he don't save us, that means it was ultimately destined for us to go back and be with him. And I ain't gonna lie. Shit. It's a win-win for me. Either he gonna save it, or I'm finna go where he at. Like either way it go, the Lord's will is gonna be worked out, and whatever the Lord has planned for us is gonna be ultimately planned for us. Like the Lord gonna take some people out of here. They're not gonna go through Jacob's trouble. Some people gonna go through Jacob's trouble. Some people gonna be martyrs. Some people not gonna be martyrs. Some people gonna make it to the end. Like everybody has their individual lot for what they can handle. So the Lord it's gonna be like that. So again, the Lord either gonna save us, or he gonna call us to come be with him. And if he call us to come be with him, the thing about it is, you might think you're torturing a nigga, but you really not. Because the Lord can make this shit quick. You know? Let me get this, bro. Because you going into being rooted. This is one of my favorites. Colossians chapter 2, starting at verse 7. I'm gonna read it in the NLT. It says, let your roots grow down into him, and let your lives be built on him. All right, then your faith will grow strong in the truth. You were taught, and you will overflow with you will overflow with thankfulness. All right, I'm gonna read it. Read 7 again. I'm gonna break it down. It says, "Let your roots go down into Him." All right, so let our roots, let our stability, our foundation, everything be rooted in Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, it says, "And let your lives be built on Him." Our lives are centered around the truth, around Yahweh Shema Shai. We don't plan our day and then plan time for Yahweh Shema Shai to that. No, we plan our Yahweh Shema Shai is the center, and we do everything else around it. Literally. Beautiful point. Beautiful point. It says, then your faith will go strong in the truth you were taught. So as we continue to do that, we continue to be rooted in Yahweh Shema Shai. We continue to make Yahweh Shema Shai the center of everything, the center of our lives. All right. Our faith will grow strong. This truth in us, the spirit in us will continue to grow strong. You know, you have your moments and everything where you kind of get a little tired up in this shit, where you got bills and everything like that, but you understand shit. Now I got to bounce back. I got to come back and catch up in the spirit. You know, like things happen. You know, how about Shema Shai know things happen. This shit's on Esau, man. Esau's the reason all this shit fucked up. But it ain't no excuse for us not to continue to be rooted in Yahweh Shema Shai.
Mm.
All right, it says, and you will overflow with thankfulness. As we continue to grow in Yahweh Shema Shai and see the perks of righteousness, man, on a small, minute level right now, being in these wicked ass bodies in this wicked ass society, we're thankful for the spirit that we have. We're thankful for Yahweh Shema Shai is doing for us. We're thankful to be able to see just the little, small, intricate things that are in our lives now when we come back into righteousness. So, how much more in the kingdom? How much more when we get these new bodies? How much more when we have an entire planet, planets, and you know what I'm saying, and galaxies and universes and everything all established in righteousness, man. You know,
Alright. And it says, your faith shall go strong. Because you're gonna need strong faith for this hour we're coming into. You know, and once you're at that point, that's gonna be you. Whatever you built yourself up to, that's gonna be your complete strength and faith. Whatever you built yourself up to, that's gonna be you and your complete and your complete strength. And hopefully you've been growing in that. Because if you're not, you're going to fold.
Yep.
You're going to fold in that dire time. You know?
Yep.
Was that on that?
If you, and I got some more. If you haven't been growing, 1 second, bro. Good shot. If you haven't been growing in the Lord, man, like if you've been growing in this world and you haven't been growing in the Lord, it's gonna show. You know, you can only fake the funk for so long.
Mm.
You know, if you're not rooted, you know, if you're not, and do I got watch my shot for this? Because it came to my head. If you're not rooted, if a tree ain't properly rooted or like strongly rooted, bro, like it may withstand, you know, small storms, little rain, you know, little wind. Shit. But once that JT, that goddamn tornado, hurricane, tsunami, you know, there's a storm that they only record them motherfuckers that you only see them in history ever so often, they gonna yank your ass up out of there, man. They gonna yank you right on out of here, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be somewhere laid down, somewhere through it. But the point is, if you ain't rooted, man, you might withstand these little small shit that going on. But when Jacob's trouble hit, when Yahweh Shema Shah unleashes true fucking true what's the word I'm looking for, bro?
Wrath?
True wrath on this place, man, then you gonna be through, bro. Then it's gonna show who you believe in. Then you're gonna show that JC, your beloved fucking Jesus Christ and Allah and Buddha and Mola and whoever the fuck you were, you're gonna show that all these niggas are really, and all that bullshit you do ain't got nothing. That shit has no power. Cause Yahweh Shema Shah sets up and tears down all things. Let me read the last. You got some else?
Mm-hmm. I want to add to your point.
Go ahead.
It's all and look, when that strong wind blows, when the hurricane always came by, I find it funny that the tree that's always been on their yard is the one that fall on their houses. When you're not rooted, you gonna fall and destroy your own house. Cause that's just crazy.
That's pressure, bro.
Yeah.
Pressure. It says, this is verse 8. It says, do not let anyone capture you with empty philosophies. Empty philosophies, man. And unsound and high sounding nonsense. Empty philosophies and high sounding nonsense. Empty philosophies is these religions that don't mean shit. You know, the high sounding nonsense, this shit that sound good but ain't rooted in nothing. You know, it shit just sound good. You know, it has no truth behind it. It's not prophetic. It's not a word from Yahweh Shema Shai. This nigga just sitting on a podcast and want to sound good to everybody for viewers. All right, it says, again, do not let anyone capture you with empty philosophies and high-sounding nonsense that come from human thinking. All right, it comes from the human mind. It has nothing to do with Yahweh Shema Shai. It says it comes from human thinking and not from the spiritual power. Salakia. It comes from human thinking and from spiritual powers of this world. It comes from human thinkers and everything of this world. All right, and not from Hamashiach, not from Yahweh Shema Shai, man. We can't get unrooted, or we can't get, you know, allow our foundation to grow weak by anything of this world, by any human thinking or any of the spiritual wickedness of this world, man.
Yeah, because a lot of people, all people, if they try to go spiritual, they avoid the Most High. They avoid you. How about Shemal Shai? They'll rather try to obtain power and thanks to the universe, to the ancestors, to the Egyptian powers, the Eye of Horus, the Eye of whatever the all seeing eye, they be get, or actually nature, you know, they be trying to bend elements, get their chakra right.
What the bro said, what the apostle asked, what he gonna do when the news come? We line our chakras up.
Yeah.
You ain't your chakras finna get burnt up. Through it. Verse 9, it says, for in Hamashiach lives all the fullness of the Most High in the human body. So you also are complete through the union with Hamashiach, through that foundation with Hamashiach, that coming together. All right, when you have a foundation, that building comes together with that foundation. You bolt it together, you tie it together, it becomes one.
Mm-hmm.
That building becomes one, that temple becomes one with the foundation. And we are the temples right now. We are the living sacrifice, and that foundation, that cornerstone, is Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. It says, I'm gonna read from top 10 again. So you are also complete through your union with Hamashiach, who is the head over every ruler and authority. All right. When you came to Hamashiach, you were circumcised, not by a physical procedure. All right, we talking about spiritual circumcision, not going to the doctor and circumcision. Of course, you go into the history, that's a different thing, but this is not what this lesson is about. We're talking about the spiritual circumcision in the case of this precept here. And correct me if I'm wrong, though. It says when you came to Hamashiach, you were circumcised, but not by a physical procedure. Hamashiach performed a spiritual circumcision, the cutting away of your sinful nature. All right. So when you begin to be rooted in Yahweh Shema Shah, when you begin to have that foundation in Yahweh Shema Shah, the house is built on that foundation. The temple is built on that foundation. If it's extra hanging off that foundation, that shit got to be cut off. All right. If that house is built too big and it can't even be built outside the perimeter of that foundation. We cannot be built up or truly rooted outside the foundation and the structure of Yahweh Shema Shai. You got it, bro.
And we're circumcised, it's not a physical circumcision, but a spiritual one, because we cut off all our unclean ways, our unclean thoughts, our unclean doings. That's repentance. We turn away from it. So we're cutting that lifestyle, cutting that way of being off, to what? To be cleansed, because that what circumcision makes you clean. Because all that filth builds up under that extra amount of skin. And that's what it was all about. It was about cleanliness, and we becoming clean through what? Through the ways of Yahweh Shema Shai. That's all right.
Yeah, that's it, bro.
I got this. This is all Let me start from this Revelation chapter 15, verse 1 and 2. And I saw another I saw another sign in the heavens, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up with the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai. And I saw it as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh Shema Shai. And that's what we all, and that's the goal. That's what we're trying to make it to. That's what we're trying to make it to. We're trying to make it above, so we can see our victory. Because the destruction of America, the destruction of this age is our victory. You want to be standing in the chariots with the rest of the elect, looking down on this place, because that you're seeing the restart of everything.
Yep.
You don't
want the Lord to say, I don't know you. Like, imagine, the Father, and the only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. And you thinking you really ain't gonna work like that. You thinking that you gonna get beamed up, or you thinking like, for example, let me say this. You thinking you going to church and the Lord coming back and he gonna say, oh, come on, you pull. Like we talking about that camp we passed Friday. Like, people really keep Yahweh Shema Shai in that boundary, or that box of how he was when he walked on the planet, and he did the prophecies and did the work that he had to do. Like what you were saying, like the 70 times 7, seven times 7, 77 times 7. Give me the exact number, Salaki. I know it's 7. Going into complete forgiveness. turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
You know, they think that that's just how Bashim shot. But again, scripture says, think not I come back to bring peace but a sword. All right, so shit, okay, keep on sitting there. Yeah, y'all think the Lord coming back to say, oh, I'm coming back to save everybody. Like, shit, if he coming back to save, if the Lord coming back to save everybody, Esau don't even need to be saved. Esau in his rulership right now. What he need to be saved from? This nigga fucking everything up. All these people who in bed with Esau, they don't even be saved from shit. But nigga want Esau to have his spot in the kingdom so bad, he gonna have one. He gonna have the exact spot he supposed to have for 1,000 years. And that's it.
Yeah. Hey, so that's on that.
Yeah, unless you got something else, bro.
Nah. Hey, and with that, hey, we hope you was edified. Again, we're gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing. Shalom.
Shalom.